Hello and welcome to 3 Minute Gaming. I'm Nathan, and today I'm going to tell you if this game's worth your time and bandwidth. Today's game is Coffee Talk. Learn how to make and serve a variety of hot drinks while listening to people's problems in this fantasy coffee shop game. Is Coffee Talk worth eavesdropping in on? Let's find out. Coffee Talk is a story-driven visual novel intermixed with a drink-making game, much like the popular Valhalla cyberpunk bartender game. You are a barista in Seattle in an alternate present where fantasy races both exist and coexist across the world. So like that Netflix movie Bright, except not terrible. As the only coffee shop open past midnight, you have a lot of interesting clientele from all walks of life come visit and ask for various beverages. Your primary customer is the human woman Freya, an author for a local newspaper who needs inspiration to write her next big novel. She's probably your closest friend in the game, and since she's always at the shop, she decides to use the other guests as references for stories in her book. Over the game's 15 in-game days, you'll meet a whole host of colorful characters, such as an interracial elf and succubus couple whose families don't approve of their relationship, a timid indie game developer mermaid, a vampire and werewolf duo with a complex past, and more. Who comes in each day can change, and often characters won't even meet up until later on in the story, leading to some interesting interactions. Aside from telling you their stories, you'll be serving them drinks, which is fairly simple in the campaign. You'll pick a base and 2 additions, such as coffee with milk and honey, and your customers will often ask for specific things, which you'll need to provide. There are also a few minor puzzle segments where you'll need to decipher a specific drink or serve someone the wrong drink for the right reason, but generally it's pretty cut and dry. Outside the main story, there's an endless mode that is just drink making, and this deepens that mechanic significantly, as each ingredient gives a drink a warm, cool, sweet, and bitter rating, and customers will ask for something specific that you'll need to provide. It's not particularly complex, but it is a fun challenge to try after finishing the story. Speaking of finishing, after you beat 15 days, you're encouraged to replay specific days to get the true ending and uncover some secrets about your character, following which the story is truly over. So overall, Coffee Talk is a text-driven game about meeting new fantastical people and listening to their problems, all while serving cozy drinks and being mysterious. So what do I like about Coffee Talk? Well, the characters are incredibly engaging, with the maybe too nosy Freya getting into everybody's lives and personal issues, and it being a delight when characters you know from different days interact for the first time. The entire cast is very charming. Additionally, the game's writing does a great job doing some genuine world building without being overly explainy, digging into a world where fantasy creatures all interact and mingle, but from the perspective of their personal problems rather than just info dumping. And lastly, I actually enjoyed the drink making portions of this game, particularly in Endless Mode, where learning how to give people the exact type of drink they wanted was a fun little mini game, and once it got hard, it got pretty engaging. When it comes to the bad, as mentioned, this is a mostly text-driven story game, so the primary gameplay mechanic is reading, and if you aren't into that kind of thing, you will probably find it boring. Additionally, some of the drink requirements in the Endless Mode feel more vague than helpful, especially if you're trying to find all these specific combinations for the achievement. And lastly, I do wish this game were a bit longer. I felt like it could have easily added another week of in-game story to better flesh out characters and their plot arcs before they all ended up wrapping up. As you know, I rate games here on a 3-point scale: must play, maybe consider, and don't bother. And Coffee Talk is like a cozy warm drink on a cold winter evening. While the campaign's gameplay is basic, the stories and characters you engage with are so interesting you'll want to keep coming back to see where their paths take them. Even after just a short time, I was very attached to this cast, and I can't wait to dive into the second game to see them more. Coffee Talk is a fantastic story-driven experience that you should definitely check out if you like games with interesting narratives. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Have you played Coffee Talk? Have you played Valhalla? I'll admit I haven't played that one yet, so it's actually next on my list after the Coffee Talk sequel, but I want to know what you think, so please let me know in the comments, and then go out there and make sure you give Coffee Talk a look.